The fuel perks you love just got better. Now with the new Fuel Perks Plus from Market District and GetGo, you can earn perks at the pump too. Use your perks to get up to 20% off any grocery order. Don't worry, you can still get up to 30 free gallons of gas too. Now earn at the pump to get free fuel and free food. All with the new Fuel Perks Plus. More perks, more places, more savings. Learn more at marketdistrict.com/perks. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hey,
Blog
hey,
Talk
hey,
Radio.
hey, everybody. It is time. It is time to get started here. I am super thrilled and excited. Before we get into everything, I want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Let's see here. I'm going into the chat. We do have a chat here, so you guys are able to chat as we're going through the show, but I am super thrilled and excited to get this information out there. I know that a lot of people have really been struggling with, understanding these connections, navigating these connections, just going through a ton of emotional changes. And what we want to do is, just really make things really clear, okay? We want to just make things really clear. We're going to understand it. We're going to break it down so that you understand what this is, why things are happening, the way that they're happening, and what you can best do to navigate yourself in a way within these connections that is beneficial to you, okay? That you get the ultimate results that you need, because there's a lot of information that's out there, but the thing is, people aren't really getting anywhere with a lot of information, and I feel that is because we need to take something that is such a complex topic and such a complex and intense situation, something that is so high in spiritual knowledge and understanding, and we need to be able to relate that in our real lives, in our experience and what we're going through, because sometimes these concepts seem so abstract. They're either really high up and abstract, or they are almost completely romanticized to the point of being practically a fairy tale, okay? So we're going to end that today, okay? So let me see here. Let me see. Give me just a second here. We're going to get started. Let everybody get in. See here. I want to make sure that you all can hear me. I'm letting everybody get in. Great. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to just give just a second here to let people get in, and we're going to go ahead and get started. At the end, we're going to be doing some questions. We'll do the call-in at the end of the show, Jules 33. If anybody can't hear me, make sure you type it in the chat box. Let me know that you can't hear me. No problem, dear. Okay. Okay, we're going to give about 15 seconds, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to just go ahead and get started. I hope everybody is in and listening in and able to hear well. We're going to go ahead and just straight away get started. Oh, and one thing also, guys, I wanted to mention, I wasn't going to do a show like this without offering something special for listening in. So during the show, and only during the show, if you schedule a reading, it's 40% off, only for the time frame that the show is airing. You will use coupon code Divine Radio. Okay, so at any time during the course of the show, if you book any type of reading, you get 40% off. Okay, so that is my thank you to you all for tuning in and taking this time with me today on a Sunday, a fabulous Sunday, might I add. But that's my gift to you guys, and we're going to go ahead and get started right now. Now, what we want to talk about when it comes to this whole twin flame dynamic, a lot of people are really just wondering, what the heck it is. Okay, what is this? Now, we hear a lot of people talk about it's a journey. Okay, but exactly what does that mean? That's what a lot of us are wondering. Exactly what does that mean? What kind of journey? Okay, so I am going to take you during the course of this show through that journey so you understand completely within yourself, and I'm not telling you to understand something that's abstract, okay? And I'm saying just inside of you somewhere deep within your soul. We are saying that, but we're going to take that and we're going to relate it to what it looks like in the physical world around us, okay, and in the actual encounters that we're having with our twin flame, okay? So the thing we really have to get clear on to really pave the way for understanding this journey is to understand what it is, okay? And the thing about this is it is having the feeling of a core essence that matches yours, okay? So at a very base level, on a deep level, that is what's going on, okay? So you are feeling a resonance with someone that within yourselves you have a very similar vibration beyond the ego. This is what is going on in a true twin flame connection, okay? So you and this person share a core essence, and there are layers, ego, that are surrounding that core essence of who you really are. So you can think of it kind of like an onion. Yes, I'm saying we're onions, okay? Yes, we're onions. So if you think of it like an onion, okay, you, who you truly are, is at the core of that onion. But then we have all these layers outside of that we built upon ourselves that kind of feel like us. We think it's us, but we're not really connected to that true core of who we are. A lot of times we're connected to those outer layers, okay? The further the layers go from the core, the more layers you have, the further your resonance is away from who you truly are, okay? So basically what I'm saying is the more layers there are on that onion, the more you can't really feel who you truly are. So it's like you just really can't feel who you truly are. Now, what's happening is, this is why people have multiple connections, okay, where you'll have these types of experiences with more than one person. I've seen people have these experiences without a person, okay? The reason for this is the entire goal of all of this big mess, okay, this intense emotional mess, this drama that we're in, is that we, the universe, our higher selves, our souls, want to remove those layers, okay? We want to get to a place where we live from just that core in the middle, and we want to peel the other stuff off, okay? So that is what this is about. So what happens is your core essence, the resonance that you feel as your core essence, which is not always your core essence, okay? That's the thing about it. You can feel like you without being you, okay? So how that happens is what I was telling you about the onion. If you have a lot of layers that are covering up the core of who you really are, you cannot feel who you really are at a core level. You really feel like those outer layers are truly you and who you are. So from those outer layers, you will attract a person who is resonating with you on that layer, okay? Going to feel like it's really a core resonance, okay? But that's only because that's just how deep you know yourself. You only know yourself on that outer layer. So you can only experience yourself on that outer layer, and you will attract people who are matching where you are on that outer layer. But because you haven't experienced your core essence and pulled away all those layers, it feels like you and like that's all there is, okay? So the truth of the matter is, in order to truly recognize your twin, you have to get to that core place within yourself. Now, we are all different. We have different beliefs. We have different life experiences, okay, that have caused us to have different amounts of layers. Some of us have thicker layers than others and things like that. So because of that, certain people require sometimes more connection. Some people feel a higher intensity level than others. This is all based on, the individual, okay? So now we understand that these connections are about the core essence, right, okay? And we're having various connections, however many a person has, based on how many we need and what is necessary for us as individuals to pull away those layers. Now, that's the basics. That's the basis. That's the foundation of it. Then we want to look at the intensity of it, okay? So these connections that we're experiencing, however many of them there are, the intensity level is basically just an indicator of the amount of layers this connection can remove. That's what it is telling us, okay? So because of a lot of the way, things are romanticized, these fantasies that we have in the world that we live in, we often automatically, because we don't have another frame of reference, these fairy tales are all we have to go on when we experience an intense connection. We don't have anything else to really think of it as. We go immediately into relationship, romance, those types of things. That's all we know. That's the only frame of reference that we have for something this intense. I mean, what the hell else could it be, right? Okay, because we don't have anything else in our database to go to help us understand it. So when we experience this intensity, we automatically go into that place, and we're missing the possibilities, all the possibilities of everything else that could be happening here, the deeper part of what this could really be about. We're missing all of that because we only have this one way that we can really try to wrap our minds around it and understand it. The intensity when you meet someone, if the intensity, okay, is everybody else experiencing me really low? I've got somebody here saying that it's the volume seems really low. Can you guys type in the chat real quick and let me know, is anybody else really experiencing that? Do we have a problem? Can you guys hear me well? Okay. Yeah, I'm not getting any signals on this end that there's something wrong. Okay, so what happens is, okay, let's see here. I'm going to see if I have any way to make it any louder. Let me try real quick just to give it a shot. Yeah, I can't go any louder on my end, okay? And I'll speak up as much as I can, all right? Okay, so what happens is we meet someone and we experience this this intensity, okay? It's really intense. But we don't realize that the intensity is trying to show us the amount of layers this connection is capable of removing off of that onion. So we're going back to that whole onion thing. You want to keep that as I'm explaining this journey the whole way through the show. Remember what I said about the onion, okay? So the core that you are, the more layers you have on that onion, the stronger the intensity is going to be, okay? So that is what is going on with the intensity, why it's so intense. You have so many layers based on your life experiences, the culture that you grew up in, the society, your family, just everywhere. And you have so many layers that you're so far from your core essence and who you really are. You're experiencing yourself as that outer layer that's way out there from the core essence, okay? So when this connection comes, it feels extremely intense. Now, for those of you who have experienced multiple connections like this, then you guys are aware that it gets less intense, right? So by the time a person may be on their second, I've had people that even have had 4 of them. By the time someone gets on their second, third, fourth connection like this, the intensity isn't it's not as profound. The more we go on, the less of those layers we have, okay? So the closer to the core essence you are of yourself, the less intense that connection is. Okay, because remember, the purpose of it is it's burning off those layers. So when we don't know that and we experience all of these types of things we're going through with this person, emotionally, mentally, it's just the most stressful thing, and because we don't understand what it's trying to do. We don't understand what's going on. Now, the next thing to really look at is understanding that the way these things are kind of playing out, right? All this craziness, this emotional turmoil, and all of this stuff that we're going through with this person is a fire that's coming to burn up those layers. The layers of the false self, the layers of the false beliefs, everything that is in opposition to true love. Because this is about true love, but the problem is, in our society, true love has been romanticized so much, we no longer really understand what true love is about, okay? So this connection is coming. It's trying to burn that stuff off because it's going to lead you to true love. But true love requires the true self. See, we can't experience this kind of amazing harmony, okay, this harmonious connection with someone else from those outer layers. It only could, because what we're looking for, right, and I think most of us would agree, what we're really looking for is to have this resonance, this deep sense of, it's like we want this security within ourselves, but we want this person here with us. It's just this harmony of being understood, connection. That's what we want. We want connection, okay? But we can't get there without truth. okay? So true love is going to require you to go beyond the societal standards. It's going to cause you to have to go beyond your beliefs. And this is the reason why oftentimes in these connections, the circumstances are just not right. Hello? How many of y'all have experienced that? Where it's like, how many things are we possibly going to have to overcome to ever make this happen? You know, we have people that are not even in the same country. We have people that are going through this with severe language barriers, okay? We have people that are married, both in relationships. You know, all of these different circumstances, these connections are coming into circumstances where it's just not easy a lot of times to jump into it. But why is that? Why is that? Why is it such a high percentage of these connections that the situations are just, there's so many obstacles? The reason being, it's all about truth. These connections are about truth. The true you, getting rid of the false belief systems about love, okay, what we can't do, who we can't love, what we have to do, what we owe other people more than we owe ourselves. All of these beliefs, all of this false stuff, all of these layers have to go. Okay, all of these layers have to go. So that's the part of the journey. That's the journey you're on. You're on a journey to get rid of every belief that, you know, when someone told you that there's somebody out there that is miserable in a marriage, but you grew up in a belief system that tells you that you cannot leave a marriage. Okay, you're going to go through this fire until that layer of falsehood, until that lie burns off. So that's what it's about. Who you think you are when you reject certain aspects of yourself. All of this is what this journey is about, okay? So sometimes we really get focused on this person, and that's the reason that we're not getting through the journey, because what is supposed to be going on between us and this person? What is this really about? If we're making it simply about all of this is happening because we're fated to be together, that's it, really? Obviously, there's something deeper to this. There's more going on here. There's something we're not getting. And that's what it is. We're not getting that it's a journey. So we're able to, you know, walk the journey, let the layers burn off. We can get to the true love, because true love doesn't happen in lies. It's true, not false. Now, the next thing that we really need to look at is the difference between connection and relationship. This is another thing that we really struggle with when it comes to navigating ourselves in this, in these connections. We live in a society that we only really have a program running on relationships. Okay, there's nothing out there. We don't really have any programs on connection. We don't know anything about connection. The most we know about connection is like the World Wide Web. Okay, we know about the internet. That's about as deep as our connection goes. So that's the issue. You know, we only have a concept of relationship. So that causes us to struggle in these connections because they're never going to operate like a relationship. So all of the rules and beliefs, because remember, it's about getting rid of those beliefs. It's about getting rid of those rules. It's about getting rid of those beliefs and rules. So we would never get rid of them if we were able to stay in the same dynamic and thinking the same way that we normally do in relationships. We would just get comfortable, and that would be that. So we have to understand this. Connection requires you to be close to your core. So when it comes to that onion, connection requires you to not have a lot of layers. Okay, so you have to get rid of the layers in order to not have a huge amount of problems, in order for the connection to work. Relationships require agreement. So when we're under the programming of relationships, we're expecting an agreement. Okay? We're expecting an agreement. We're expecting that there's going to be some type of exchange here. There's some type of agreement here. If I do this, it means this. And, you know, we're agreeing. We're having some type of, you know, understanding with each other of what we're going to trade. That is the dynamic of relationships. Connections and relationships are serving different purposes, okay? So this is why fundamentally they don't operate the same, because they have a different purpose, okay? They don't have the same goal. Connection came into your life to strip away the layers that cover up your truth and who you really are, the layers of societal beliefs, lies that we've been taught to believe that keep us from love, okay, that make love smaller in our lives. That is why you had that connection. That is what it came into your life for. Because people say, well, this is about true love. Well, how are you ever going to experience that? We don't know anything about true love. We don't have a society that is really preparing us with the things that we're growing up listening to, watching on television, hearing in school, and even the people modeling relationships for us, like our parents and the adults that we looked up to. They haven't even modeled this true love to us. So where in the world would we ever really understand that? So we think that we can just have this fairy tale fantasy love, and there's nothing we have to do to get there. Why do we have to go through all of this in order to get to it? Why do we have to look at ourselves? Not because we are faulty and there's something wrong with us. We don't have a program within us for true love, because we have not had that in our world and in our society around us. So all of these things have to come into our life and occur in a certain way to give us a new way of being, a new way of seeing, to be capable of it. We're not capable of it. And that's the thing that people don't really want to admit, that people don't really want to look at. Okay? We want this, but we're not ready for it. And how do we know we're not ready for it? Look at how we behaved when we felt the intensity of the connection. Okay, there's how they behave, which is where people love to focus, but look at how we behave. We have not, both of us, you know, you and your twin, have behaved in a way that was not conducive to that true love. Why is that? Because you don't have an understanding of it. You don't have a foundation for that kind of love. You only have a program for relationships. So that has to be changed. You have to get to a new program. And we've been alive so long, we really believe what we believe, and we think we know. It's hard to do. That's what the hard part is. That's why this is hard. That's why it's such a struggle. It's because something is trying to come in and give us a completely new belief system. And we fight against that. We think we know how it goes. We know how love goes. We're running on a program that we think it goes this way. We don't have a concept. This is why when a lot of times when people try to explain it, it sounds so abstract because it's way out there. It's not even in, we don't have anything to run that program on or that training on. So the connection is coming to strip away the layers, and the relationship wants to protect the layers. So do you see how in a connection, trying to operate like a relationship and the way we think relationship goes, see how it's not going to work? Because the two have fundamentally oppositional purposes. The connection wants to get rid of those layers. The relationship wants to protect it. In the relationship, we help We feel good about how someone helps us to keep our layers. Then we judge that means that they love us. They love us if they help us keep our layers. They make us feel secure. They make us feel safe, being who we are, thinking how we've always thought, with all of these layers. The relationship makes the false self feel loved, embraced, and adored. But the connections are saying, I'm not going to embrace none of that shit. Take it off. And because we don't understand that, we take it personal, and we only have this belief system and thought process that is based in relationship. So then it means they don't love us because they're not doing this and this and this and this. Because they're not comforting the layers of our selves, the stuff we were scared to let go of, the stuff that has made us feel secure, stuff that we believe that we've been living. Here's something that's bringing in a whole new paradigm and saying all of that has to go. It's not comfortable. Okay, so there's that, understanding that connection and relationship are two different things. Now we're going to get into something real juicy here, okay, because this is the thing. I think that that was the basics. Now we're going to get into what's really going on in this dynamic with the push and pull. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about the running and the chasing. Woo, 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 woo. Ain't that what we want to talk about? The running and the chasing. All right, well, let's do it. So, this push and pull that we feel with this person, what the hell is that about? Right? What the hell is that about? It is trying to establish an internal balance. Okay? It is trying to establish the internal balance within each person. Because we all have a masculine side within us. We have both within us. But once again, because of this bullshit programming that we get from our life, and the way we grow up and what we're told about who we have to be, a girl acts like this and a boy acts like that, and this is what's appropriate and this is what's not. All of this stuff causes us to get balance within ourselves. So this push and pull is pushing you back and forth, the two of you, to help you establish internal balance within yourselves. And we're going to break it down exactly how that's happening and what's going on. Now, the push is polarity to your dominant essence and the rejection of the opposite polarity. What does that mean? The pushing is when you're polarized to your dominant essence. So that's when a female is polarized to her feminine energy and a male is polarized to his masculine energy. Society, that's great, right? Because that means a girl is being a girl and a boy is being a boy. The problem with that is the soul is unhappy. Okay? So the soul wants to get that right. It wants to be balanced. Anything in life, the balance is always in the middle. There's never a balance in polarization. It is always imbalanced. You're supposed to be in the middle. Balance is in the middle. So when the feminine is pushing and she is polarized to her dominant essence, she's rejecting her masculine essence. What does that look like? The feminine is pushing, chasing, okay, that's her polarity to her dominant essence. She's not, but this is the thing. She's not chasing him. She thinks she is. She's chasing him in rejection of her logical masculine side. So when the feminine is polarized to her feminine energy, rejecting her logical masculine energy, the part of her that wants to think about it, the part of her that wants to make it all make sense in her mind, because she has that too. You think she's just an emotional wreck, an emotional, just an emotional time bomb that just wants to sink and drown in her emotions and chase after this man who is behaving this way, and that she doesn't have any feelings about that? Yes, she does. But she's rejecting that because of who she feels she has to be. She has to be unconditionally loving. You see? So she has to be a certain way because she's a woman. And that would it be time. So she's rejecting her masculine energy. Okay? So this is where the chasing is coming from. Because she can't get in her masculine energy enough to be able to say, you know what? Something ain't right about this. Bring the logic into it and balance it out. And we're going to get all the chasing thing. Now, when the masculine is pushing, because remember the push is the polarity to your dominant essence and the rejection of the opposite polarity. So when the masculine is pushing or running, because he runs when he pushes, he's running from her, but not really. Just like he's not really running from her. He's running from his feminine energy. He's rejecting his feminine energy. He's pushing against that. So now do we see how this dynamic can start to be a problem? If she is chasing, she's chasing because she's rejecting her own masculine energy. She wants his. She wants that masculine energy outside of herself. Not in here because she's rejecting that. So she's going to get it. He's got that masculine energy, that balance that she needs, and she's going to reject that within herself. So when the masculine is pushing, he's not really running from her. He's running to reject that feminine energy because of his own belief systems. He can't accept that part of his. He's in rejection to that part of himself. He's been running from that part of himself his entire life. Time he was a little boy and he hurt himself and somebody told him he couldn't have any feelings about that. Okay? So he can hurt. He can, anything that happens to him, he can't feel anything about it. His feelings are invalid. He has no right to. Somebody told him that he could. He wasn't entitled to his feelings. So then he's been running from this side of himself and this feminine energy they're saying. So it's chasing him. There's these feelings that are chasing him that he has to ignore, that he can't look at. That's what he's running from. But because we're disconnected, remember, we're not to our core essence. We're somewhere out there in these faraway layers of that onion. We can't perceive what's going on inside of us. All we can see is them. So when he's running, he thinks he wants to get away from her, and somehow that it's her that's the problem because he can't see where he's running inside of himself, from his own self. She can't see where she's trying to get that masculine energy outside of herself because she's rejected it within herself. So she's chasing that down because she wants it, but she's not entitled to it within.
because then she's not being unconditionally loving. Okay, so that's the push part of it. Okay, that's all we discussed was the push part of it. That's what's going on with the push. Now, what's going on with the pull? Pull is when we are embracing the recessive polarity and rejecting the dominant polarity. So do you see how we're imbalanced within ourselves? Because we go from one rejection of one part of ourselves to rejection to another part of ourselves, like we're on a seesaw. Okay? That's where we're not balanced within ourselves. So now we've begun to embrace the recessive polarity, and then we're saying we're going to reject the dominant polarity. So we feel like at some point we feel like being in that natural energy, so that means the feminine, being in her feminine energy. She's starting to feel some kind of way, okay? Because she was doing that with him, and they were having problems when they were both imbalanced in the push. So now she thinks it's time to pull, okay? And this is the same thing going on for him, but I just go from, the feminine to the masculine and explain it for both. We have male and female listeners. Okay, so when she begins to feel that somehow wasn't good, like she wasn't feeling good, right? When she was in that feminine energy, rejecting her masculine energy, rejecting the logic of it, chasing him, pouring her love out, pouring her heart out, and he wasn't doing anything. She didn't get anything from that. Okay? And she started to feel some kind of way within herself. But this is all because of her, because she didn't choose to embrace her masculine energy. The part of her that wanted to be logical and say, you know what? Hell to the no. I don't like this. So now she decides she's going to flip. She's going to flip sides. Now she's done with that feminine shit. Now she's being too in her masculine energy. So she's rejecting her dominant polarity and now going to her. She's embraced the logical masculine energy. She's embracing, now she's all in her head. Okay? She's all in her head about the situation now. She's thinking a lot. But it's not balanced still. It's not balanced still. She's just jumped to the other side. When the masculine is embracing the recessive polarity and rejecting the dominant polarity, he is embracing that emotional, nurturing, feminine energy, embracing that love and the emotions that he feels, all of that. And he's no longer, wanting to run away. But see, we still have a problem. That doesn't bring them together. They're still not together, and because we still have a problem. We still have a problem. So even though the pull is there, because we would think, right, she's not chasing them anymore. No, they're not fine because it's still imbalanced. And we're going to break down why it's still imbalanced. Even though they've gone from push to pull, they've gone from one polarity to the other. Remember I said the balance is in the middle. So we still have a problem. The reason it's not coming together and why it's still a problem, we're going to break that down. And Vanessa, I see what you're saying here about when you said no, then he got upset and gave you the silent treatment because he's pissed off. But we're going to talk about why both people are pissed off. The imbalance of the pull is where the anger and resentment starts coming in. The imbalance of the push is where the rejection and abandonment is coming from. And we're going to explain that. The imbalance of the pull is where the feminine, okay, so both of them get tired of being the way they were when they were in their pushing energy, when they were polarized to their dominant energy, okay? So for the feminine, that looks like she got tired of being all in her feminine energy, chasing, rejecting her masculine, logical energy that wanted to think about it, be rational, and look at things, how it could work in the physical. She got tired of that, and she said, okay, I'm going to now into the opposite, which is my masculine energy. Okay, so she's going against her dominant energy, the one that she was most comfortable in. She's going against that to get him. But guess what? The shit don't work. It don't work. So now she's not chasing him, and he still ain't coming. So you know what? She pissed off. It's resentment building up now. That's why she's mad. See, we're talking about we're still not balanced. So even though we are in the pool and she's not chasing no more, it's not right. That's right for her. The anger and resentment comes in because she switched. She stopped chasing him. It seemed like that's what he wanted anyway, right? And then enough that she didn't get anything out of it. Now, for him, what that looks like is he was going against his normal He don't do that. He was doing but it didn't get him anywhere. Here is that the bigger reason that this is occurring is because of the purpose of the connection in the first place. Not connection. So they're resentful and they're angry because they were supposed to get something back, because that's how relationships work. Remember I said relationships require agreement. We were supposed to have an agreement. See, he thinks in his mind that if he gives this other side of himself that he normally rejects, and he gets into that side, but he's still polarized. He's not saying if I'm balanced between the two within myself, it should progress me. No, he's not saying that. He's saying if I go to this other side of myself, if I embrace this other side of myself that I normally don't embrace, and I do it for her, it should get me somewhere. Because then we should have an agreement. There's a certain way. There's an agreement to that. And she's doing the same thing to him, but from her perspective. See, it's a relationship. They're trying to get an agreement going. And it ain't never going to happen. Because this is a connection. And when we're talking about, it's all about truth. So the truth of that connection that's trying to operate like a relationship, trying to get an agreement going. So y'all going to go back and forth until you realize you're never going to get an agreement. And then you got to start expanding your mind and thinking bigger. So now that's just looking at the imbalance of the pull. Now, what about the imbalance of the push? This is where the rejection and abandonment comes from. Now, you've heard people out here teaching on this topic, and they always say it's all within you. You know, if you feel rejected, you rejecting yourself. But it's so much stress, right? We don't really see what does that mean. You know what I mean? Like, how does that really relate to what I'm going through? Well, we're gonna get to that right now. The rejection and abandonment part, where you feel like this other person rejected and abandoned you, is coming from an imbalance in the push. So how that looks is I'm offering the best of my dominant essence to you, and you didn't want it. You rejected it. Because remember, the push is the part of us that's about polarity to your dominant essence and rejection of the opposite polarity. So what's happening when we're in that place, as a female or as a feminine energy, if your dominant energy is feminine, so that means you are offering the best of that energy alone, because you're polarized still. You're still not balanced. So you are offering what you feel is the most tender, the best love you gave. You never gave nobody no love like that. Okay? The most nurturing, loving, trying to be as unconditional and forgiving and gentle, and, the gentlest you could be based on how many layers, you had within yourself and where you were within yourself. But you offered the best of that. And he didn't want it. So that's how you feel. Okay, so this is where that rejection and abandonment is coming from. You're saying you rejected it. No, they didn't reject it. It's still about the issue of it was polarized. So this push and pull is going to go back and forth like a seesaw until people get balanced. Okay? It's not them. It's the whole way these connections operate from the foundation. Nobody can do it any different. For him, what does that look like? I was offering you, because once again, that rejection and abandonment issue is I'm offering you the best of my dominant essence, and you didn't reject it. So what that's, it's like I'm offering you the best of my masculine energy, and that's not what you wanted. So for him, as he knows, what is that? It's going to be protecting, providing, maybe wanting to, offer that kind of energy to you. But that's not what you're looking for. So it's happening, they're feeling that rejection. And it's really not that they're really rejecting each other. It's about this underlying dynamic that is trying to force them to come into an internal balance within themselves. That's the whole reason this is playing out the way that it is. For them to stop being polarized to one polarity or the other, where they're polarized to their masculine, the feminine is polarized to her masculine energy, then she mad, she don't want to talk. She's all locked, she can't feel shit. And then it's either that or she's chasing and can't stop. It's never balanced. Now, so we have to understand that this whole chaser-runner thing, this is what people mean when they're saying it's about a balance within the self. We'll go back and forth until it burns up all your false beliefs and thought processes. Okay? It's all about how fast you're going to grow. Now, the next thing we want to look at is why separation. Separation happens to force the self-focus. Separation is not a given. You and this person did not have to fall out of contact. This person did not have to be. But the push and pull couldn't establish the internal balance that it was established because you made that whole thing about the other person. The whole reason in your mind, because see, you're under the relationship programming of agreement. So in your mind, this whole thing was going the way that it was going because you're looking at them and their refusal to make an agreement with you. That we're not coming into agreement. When connections are not about agreement, it's not a relationship. So the push and pull was not the internal balance that it needed to establish. Because you kept the person, what they were doing, their behavior, and what was going on between the two of you. You still didn't learn to look at yourself. Well, there's no better way to look at yourself than when you're sitting there by yourself and they're gone. I don't talk at all. So now as you go through this, you don't have anywhere to look. You were so focused on their behavior and what they were doing and this dynamic back and forth between the two of you. Now there's not that. Universe, remove that away. Okay, they ain't doing nothing. Now, and you're still going, and this is how you know that this is about you. Think about this. You and this person are no longer talking. Oh, wait a minute here. I'm trying to see if I can extend it because I am going and this show is ending. Okay. Let me just, I can do this real quick. I can wrap this up real quick. Wait a minute, because then I'm not even going to have time to do the call. You know what I'm going to have to do, guys? If we get disconnected, I'm going to start it back up. Yeah, I'm gonna start it back up so we can just go ahead and finish this, okay? And so I can take the call. So let's just let it in, and then keep watching because I don't know if it's gonna make me have to put up like another episode thing real quick, and then we'll just start back. Oh, cool! Thank you, Jules 33. Okay, so the call will keep going. So let's go ahead. So it couldn't establish this internal balance, but the separation was never really necessary. It was never really necessary. And you know how people have these twin flames? They give you these stages and how things have to go. That stuff, I'm going to tell you, it's bullshit, okay? Because it's really all about you. Your journey is personal, and you make it what it is. You're going through what you're going through, and your journey with this person is going the way that it's going because of you two. It's not because, so you can, the same way, you can avoid separation, you can end the separation by getting that balance within yourself. The minute that you don't have to have that push and pull, because you can embrace both sides of yourself and be comfortable with that, then you're capable of true love because you're being true to yourself. See, the feminine is not being true to herself when she ignores her logical side that feels a certain way and she has thoughts about certain things, but she puts that on the back burner because she's a woman and she has to love unconditionally. She has to be this certain type of person. And the masculine does the same thing. Separation is there to destroy the beliefs that are against true love and connection. It's there to destroy the relationship paradigm. For your growth, for you to live a new life, for you to bring, see, you are the people that are here to bring this paradigm into the world. Because remember when I started out and I was talking to you about how a paradigm or a program out there, true love. We don't have people modeling it for us. We only have this bullshit relationship paradigm that people are unhappy in. Let me see how I can do this here. Because the live show ended, so let me go ahead and give me a second. Can anybody hear me still? Okay, so I'm just going to keep going because it'll be on the archive. Okay, good. So the people who called in are still able to hear. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue, okay, because I was trying to see here. All right. So that separation is there to destroy this paradigm and everything that is against true love and connection. People are messaging me. So that's what it's there to do. And it has to go on until that's done. So that means that you're going to have to get beyond even the fact that you feel it's not right. Because there's a lot of you that feel that way, because of maybe marriage or other relationships and things like that. Love is not trumping all. Love has to trump all. That is the only way we can bring about the kind of love in the world that we really need. That we really, this new paradigm that we need to get rid of this whole relationship and agreement thing and get into something that's real, where the children can grow up and have something modeled for them that we were not fortunate enough to have. That's what this whole thing is about. So people say, well, why is there so many twin flames all of a sudden? That's why. Because the universe is trying to move this world into a better place. And nothing's going to do that like having more love, okay? Now, let's go ahead real quick and get into the whole union thing. Oh, for the special for the Twin Flame readings, it's Divine Radio. And it's 40% off as long as the show is airing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jules 33. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so now how we get into union. Let's talk about the union part real quick. When it comes to union, it is about the union within the self. So when I talked about this push and pull and the people jumping and bouncing from one polarity within themselves to the other, that has to stop. The union occurs within the self, and then it paves the way for you to be actually capable of this type of amazing love that this whole thing was about. Okay? So that is that. Okay, so that we're going to go ahead and wrap up because I do this show the first Sunday of every month. And, I do this show the first Sunday of every month, so we'll be here doing it again. I'm going to probably extend the time so that we'll have time, because there's a little bit more that I wanted to do, and I didn't really give myself enough time to get it done. It seems like, it seems like you won't need as much time as you end up needing. Okay, so let's see here. Is this going to allow me? Okay, Jules 33, you said you wanted to ask something about your twin flame. Let me go ahead and are you 4400? Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can turn you. I'm going to try to turn you on now so you can speak. All right, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What have you got for me?
Well, I was actually calling because I would like to have that divine twin flame relationship. I've gone through relationships in the past, and I've done a lot of work on myself, so I feel like, I've peeled off some layers, so I'm getting closer. So I guess I just want to know, is that relation or that connection coming in, because I really want that deep heart and soul, that the good stuff,
Right. Oh, yeah, that's definitely the good stuff, right?
Yep, kissed enough frogs. I'm ready for my prince.
In there. Okay, so let me see real quick. I'll take a look for you. Okay. All right. So what I is, it's not about. It's really not an issue of it's definitely there for you. But
hold on 1 second. Hold on. You're fading out. I need you to start at the beginning. You faded out.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. No problem. So what I'm seeing for you is it's there for you, but you kind of have some things that are in the way. That's really all it is. The minute that you can get those things out of the way, it'll come in for you. Because what I'm seeing is that you have a subconscious belief that you can't have it. You don't really believe that you can have it. That's in the way. And there's a little bit of kind of not seeing or not being aware that it can come in ways that are beyond what you would have thought. Okay, so you need to be a little bit more open towards the universe and the way that things need to happen. You kind of want to get rid of some of how you feel yourself about how it should happen, because when you do that, you actually are becoming blind to opportunities that can be there for you, but you won't be able to see them.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, can you clarify that? Because I'm not sure what I'm doing to block it. How Right.
Let me finish so I can.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Finish, okay?
Sorry.
So like when you, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Okay, so you want to be open to allowing that to come into your life the way that the universe is bringing it to you. How you're going to do that is really practicing being a little more in the flow, okay? Being a little more in the flow, meaning being able to go in the direction that you just feel led, because how this blockage is kind of presenting itself, it's kind of like feeling led to, maybe you could feel led to speak to someone, or it's like you could be led in a certain direction, but you won't do it. You won't speak up. You won't say what you're feeling led to say. So it's like you block the flow because you feel like you shouldn't say that. See, but you're not seeing that the universe is guiding you in a way that you expressing this is how you're going to get there. But it's not in your awareness, so you're missing those opportunities. You're having opportunities that you're actually missing because of that.
So
wow. So it's really about just getting in the flow and going in the direction that you're being led to go in. Seeing that.
Okay.
And it's really, and then I'm also getting that it's time for you to make a decision and be dedicated to your success and love, like with a real dedication. And the universe is kind of saying, like, it's time for you to make a firm decision that you're going to be dedicated to the success of having this love that you want, but in a firm way within yourself, and that is actually going to help you.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Well, cool.
I
mean, I didn't realize I appreciate that. I didn't even realize I was blocking myself. You think you're doing it. You don't even realize you're blocking. So thank you for telling me.
You're very welcome.
Like, wake up.
Right? We wouldn't block ourselves on purpose, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why would we? We never, we can't see it. We wouldn't intentionally do anything to ourselves. You know what I mean? So that's how it works.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, and then there's one last thing, and thank you so much for calling in. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and disconnect, and then I have another announcement to make before this whole thing kind of cuts out.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so, all right. So the last thing that I want to announce, for any of you that are wanting to go deeper within this process, okay, actually I'm going to go ahead on the YouTube channel and do a video since this ended like this, and make, give the further information that's necessary. But you can join my 8 Hours to True Love boot camp, okay? So it's going to be 2 days, June 25th and June 26th from 2 to 6 p.m. You will be working with me. There's only 50 seats. There's going to be 10 seats that can be VIP. Those VIP people will be the only people that can kind of work, like, within the boot camp. Whenever, like, if they have personal issues and they want the personal help for it to be specifically for them, there can only be 10 people that can do that. For those of you who were on the show, I have a special discount just for that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead on YouTube and put that information up for you guys to do that. And you can do the boot camp. And we will, within that boot camp, we're going to deal with these issues within this process that have you out of alignment with true love, okay, and with bringing in the love that you truly desire, okay? So let me see, type in your YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Thank you, Jules33. Okay, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for taking this time with me on a Sunday, okay, a beautiful Sunday. There's so many things that you could have been doing, but you were here with me, and I'm grateful. So thank you guys. And you have a fabulous Sunday, and I will see you the first Sunday of July. Bye, guys.
Grocery shopping doesn't have to mean leaving your home. With Market District's Curbside Express, just place your order online and one of our expert personal shoppers will hand select exactly what you want. Then you can either pick up your groceries at Market District so you never have to leave your car, or we'll deliver them right to your door so you never have to leave your house. Market District's Curbside Express. Try it today for free and earn 150 bonus perks with your first order. Fee waived on first 3 orders and first delivery. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.